Hi, this is Asher, and today we're going to take a look at participles. Participles are sometimes very confusing, so today we're going to take a look at how they work and try to make it as easy as possible. Participles can be past participles or present participles, and this is based on what is happening when you want to use the word. Now, the reason participles are confusing is because they look like verbs but act like adjectives. So they're sometimes also called verbal adjectives. And they're used to describe a noun. So we'll just write that here. They're used to describe a noun. The present participle can be used in a few ways. It can show the purpose of an object, what it is used for, or it can show a current action or state. So we'll just write that here. It can describe the purpose of an object or the current action or state. And the way to identify these is it will always end with ing, or most of the time it will end with ing. And for past participles, they're a little bit different. So they describe the present state of something, but it's happened in the past. Now, this might sound confusing, but it's actually quite simple. So past participles end in ed, and that's how you're going to separate them from present participles. And we'll have a look at a few examples in a second. So they end in ed. And we'll just get a picture up here, an example. Right, so we have a basketball player that has just made a slam dunk, and we're going to use him for some examples. Okay, so if we want to describe the basketball, we can say that it is falling. So we'll just draw that here. The ball is currently falling towards the ground, and it ends with ing, so that is a present participle. We're describing what the ball is doing. Next, we can see that the athlete that I've drawn is jumping. So we'll highlight that here. So we have a jumping athlete. And because it ends with ing, again, it's a present participle. It's something that the athlete is still doing. Here we're going to try an example of a past participle. So we're going to say that the athlete is wearing a crumpled jersey. Crumpled means it has all these wrinkles in it here. So it didn't just get wrinkled, it's not in the middle of being wrinkled. That's the way it is, it's crumpled. So that is a past participle. He's wearing a crumpled jersey. Now we'll get another example up here and try a few more. So we have this boy here, which some of you might recognize. And the first thing we're going to say about him is that he is waving. So a waving boy. We're describing the boy and the action he is making. So he's waving. It ends with ing, so a present participle. Next, we're going to say that he is smiling. So we have a smiling face. We're describing the face. The face is the noun, and smiling is what he is doing. So a smiling face, it's a present participle. Okay, so we'll try another example of a past participle. So we're going to say that the boy is wearing tightened shoes. So we'll highlight the shoes here. Now, he didn't just tighten them, he probably tightened them in the morning when he got out of bed, and they remained in that state. So it's a past participle. Now, it gets a little bit harder when you want to use a verb with a participle. So we're going to say that he's wearing a fastened belt, but wearing is a verb, it's what he's doing right now. Fastened is the participle. It's how we want to describe the belt. We'll try another example with the basketball player as well. So we're going to say that he is playing basketball with rising determination. That sounds a little bit tricky, but we just have to remember that rising is a participle. It's describing the noun determination. And playing is what he's currently doing. It's the verb. So he's playing basketball, but his determination is rising. So rising describes the noun, and fastened describes the belt for the other example I just gave. Okay, so we've seen a few examples now, but we want to know what to be careful of so we use it correctly. Now, participles look like verbs, but they actually act in the same way an adjective would because they're describing nouns. So they look like verbs, but they act like adjectives. So because participles are describing nouns, they'll always come right before the noun. And we can see that in every example here. Now, I also said a present participle can describe the purpose of something. So we'll just do an example for that here. We have a pair of running shoes. That's how you would describe the shoes. They're for running, so it's a purpose. They're not currently running, but they're for running. That's what they're made for. So like I said, we'll always see it just before a noun. We'll draw that here. So a falling ball, a jumping athlete, crumpled jersey, a waving boy, a smiling face, tightened shoes, and a fastened belt. We'll highlight all of these nouns as well. So I hope you have a pretty good idea now for how to use participles. Remember, they look like verbs, but they're actually acting in the same way adjectives would. Now, if this video was helpful to you, please like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. See ya!